You're welcome. Protests have long been a means, for citizens to express themselves, express their grievances, and demand change from their governments. It's been the practice all over the world, including Nigeria. Well, this week, a planned protest nationwide against bad governance called #EndBadGovernance protest has made the headlines, but with a twist. Now, while some Nigerians are eager to take to the streets, others are conspicuously reluctant to take to the streets. For instance, the president of a traders union has declared that his members, his traders union, will not join the protest. Also, Arewa youth, who previously had declared their support for it, have now distanced themselves from the movement to end bad governance in Nigeria. Also, some leaders from Nigeria's southeast are saying that their citizens, their indigents rather, will not join the protest, including former Governor David Umahi, who is now Minister of Works, Governor Hope Uzodinma, who is Governor of Imo State. He's the head of the Progressive Governors Forum, and of course, Pan-Igbo Sociocultural Organization, Ohaneze Ndigbo, worldwide. They've all said that their people will not participate in the End Bad Governance protest. Now, recall that this week, when First Lady Senator Remi Tinubu visited the Oba of Lagos, His Majesty Oba Rilwan Akiolu, the Oba called on Nigerians to exercise patience with President Bola Tinubu's administration. We cannot forget that the economy has been going through a lot in recent times with record high inflation figures. Of course, right now we have inflation that's the highest since 1996, and the struggling fate of the Nigerian currency, the Naira. On the other hand, some groups and individuals are fervently in support of the protest. They're citing the need for urgent action against bad governance, which they feel is the root cause of the economic woes Nigerians are facing today. Well, we have a long list of the demands from these End Bad Governance protesters, led by Omoyele Sowore of Revolution Now. And they call it Days of Rage. And they're saying it's scheduled for July until August. That's late end of July until August 2024. Some of the demands include scrapping the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, replacing it with what they call a people-made constitution for the Federal Republic of Nigeria through a sovereign national conference to be immediately followed by national referendum. They are saying the second demand is to toss the Senate arm of the Nigerian legislative system and keep only the House of Representatives, making it lawmaking part-time. We're going to look at all this as we go on. I want to introduce our guests tonight on the program who will do justice to this, and indeed they represent some sector of those who have commented on this protest in the past. Yusuf Dantale is the national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. He joins us virtually from Abuja. We're also joined by Chiedozie Ogbonia, who is the national publicity secretary of Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide. He joins us virtually from Enugu. Gentlemen, good evening to you, and thank you very kindly for your time tonight.
Yeah, New Central. My pleasure. You are doing well.
Thank you very much, sir. Chief, let's start with you. Do you understand and are you aware of the underlying factors that are driving the agitations for an End Bad Governance protest in Nigeria?
Yeah, the whole thing is centered on the hardship in Nigeria today. The economy is bad. Naira doesn't seem to have much value. Everything has changed dramatically, since a few.
All right, probably Chief has a bit of a network, but he'll be with us. While waiting for Chief to come back, I want to come to you, Yusuf Dantale. You understand, are you aware of the underlying factors, and what's your view of those underlying factors that are leading to the calls for a protest?
Good evening, Kofi. Good evening, Nigeria. We have known facts that Nigeria is going through a very difficult phase in our history. people finding it difficult to feed, businesses not doing well, and basic earnings are becoming far from the people. Secondly, on the other hand, protests have one function, calling the attention of the authorities to a misnomer in the society, which is the economic difficulty and other ills that they point out. And I know that the government is trying to do, or have been trying to do what they can to ensure that we have a better situation, but unfortunately, the result is far from what we expect. And one advice is, why you want to protest is good to protest. It is within the right of the people to protest with anything they think they are not contented with. But then we should be careful that we don't drag the country into a situation that will go out of hand. Because the hungry man, they say, is an angry man. And the way it is, we don't pray for what happened in Kenya to happen. Because Nigeria is a very volatile society. There's no country in the world or in Africa that can accommodate refugee problem from Nigeria. So whatever we do, we have to try as much as possible to exercise, to express our discontent with the highest level of decorum.
All right. I don't know if we have Chief Alex Obonia back with us, and Publicity Secretary of Ohanes Ndigbo Worldwide. Chief, are you there? Okay, Chief, please kindly unmute your device because I cannot hear you. Maybe it seems you're muted. You were giving us your thoughts on the reason behind this End Bad Governance protest and your understanding of the reasons behind it. So, Chief, if you can unmute yourself, and then we will take your thoughts on what you think about the reasons behind the End Bad Governance protest. Chief, can you hear me? Okay, Chief, you have to unmute your device because I cannot hear you. Okay, all right, we'll get back to Chief.
Me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you now. Oh, thank God. Okay, so Chief, yes, your understanding of the reasons behind these agitations for protests in Nigeria. Please go on.
Yeah, the reasons are very clear. Things have changed so drastically, so bad. Parents can no longer feed their children. Unemployment is on increase. The value of Naira is fastly draining. Those factories that are born in Nigeria are now running away. Nothing seems to be working. These are the reasons why people are talking about protests. Nothing is actually working, but more painfully is the attitude of the leadership, the government. Sometimes you hear billions that are in EFCC chasing some people over billions and things like that. Even as people are experiencing hardship, you find people that are callous as mismanaging the economy, even as bad as it is. So these are the reasons why people feel that there's need for a protest.
So, Chief, in the light of these, why is Ohanes Ndigbo saying that Igbo will not participate in the protest?
Our reason is very clear. The reason is very clear. Every Nigerian knows why what happened to the Igbo all the while, especially 2023 election. Toward the election, a lot of conspiracies against the Igbo, a lot of advanced conspiracy theories against the Igbo, why Igbo was not good, it's not good enough to lead Nigeria, and so on and so forth. And some people's Igbos were chased away from voting and many other things that happened. And ultimately, a lot of people ganged up against the Igbo to make sure that what was due for us didn't come to us. But ultimately, we accepted the verdict of the Supreme Court, and since then we'll be giving our support to the presidency. Now, what we call blaming the victim. So we are victimized, and anyone small thing begin to blame Igbo again. And we want to think of anything we have called on other ethnic groups to come to our rescue or to our support them, paying attention to it. Nnamdi Kanu, it appeared it's an Igbo affair. 2023, when it was the turn of the Igbo, it appeared it was a Nigerian affair. Every other time we are sidelined in the center of power, it appears it's an Igbo affair. So we we don't look. We want to sit and watch how Nigeria is going. Of course, we are essentially traders, and being traders, living 10 days for the protest, for what we are not the cause. We are feeling that those who cause the problem should be in position to solve the problem. So it will have some reason not to join the protest, where even when the hardship is touching everybody. But of course, the Igbo have their ingenious and resilient capacity to turn adversity to opportunity. We still have a way to overcome the challenges. So we are not bothered about that. We know that ultimately, among the other ethnic groups, we have the capacity to overcome the challenges, no matter how bad it is. That is how we are made.
Okay.
So that's why we told our people to watch and not to participate.
All right. I want to go to you, back to you, Yusuf Dantale. Why, in your opinion, groups like traders unions and even Arewa youth are distancing themselves from such a protest that's touching everyone in Nigeria today?
I am not in a position to say, to give reasons why they earlier accepted to be part of it, and they are distancing themselves. Maybe some politics have been played. And in all, the only thing I will say is I will advise our leaders, those who God have entrusted with the mantle of leadership, to ensure they rule with fear of God, and to see that Nigerians are going through a lot. This protest is not just about the common man. Dangote is the richest black man on the African continent, and he protested recently about the inability for his refinery that he has got billions of dollars to perform. Okay, we have the crude oil here, the refineries. We have government-owned refinery in Port Harcourt, in Warri, in Rivers, in Kaduna, and nothing seems to be working. And believing that if we have a privately owned refinery, it will work. But yet, you see, the sabotage from what he said that raw materials, which is the crude oil that is on Nigerian soil, is difficult. So, and then the price of petroleum keep on going, and we must promote a spirit of economic and political nationalism. Why? The more we take petroleum, crude oil out of the country, the more we export our jobs. When we're younger, see, a lot of things, employment, direct and indirect employment being created. But now, out of all the multiple variables that are byproducts of petroleum, the only thing we are focusing on is PMS, DPK, AGO, and maybe Jet A1. But there are other derivabilities that are credible to crude oil. So some of these things, this is what I think, I see what Dangote did as a revolution that deserve every commendation. Even the Innocent Motors, for instance, Innocent is an industrial, it's a local industry. What he's doing is revolution, to bring to Nigeria what we go to export. Unfortunately, instead of people in power to make it a law that we should patronize what is our own, we still chose to go and then invest this money in economy that will not have no direct benefit on our own people. So these are some of the things I think we should begin to look inward to see that no man, no Westerner, and a man who have enslaved you one time in your life, that he didn't do anything, don't expect that man to give you the solution to your problem. It is to be better for him to continue that slavery in any other modern form that they think will profit their interests. So we should look inward. But thank God, the federal government, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, it's constituted a committee headed by Aliko Dangote and people like Elumelu. They too, yes, God has given them. They should look in, see the possibility of redistributing wealth among Nigerians, okay? Because what we need first is Nigeria. So God has given them look alike minds. And additionally, the government too should, I think the government should declare amnesty on corruption, on those who have stolen Nigerian money out and stashed away outside the country. We have so much money in foreign banks that people are scared of bringing. They are not enjoying it. They cannot lay claim to this thing. The government can devise, maybe set up a committee that people can come and declare, nobody will arrest you, the country is dying, you have taken a lot from the country, bring it back and invest in Nigeria based on negotiation. So you don't begin to, because the more you say you arrest, we have a peculiar problem that needs
Yusuf Dantale, it's quite interesting the point you're raising. It gives us a lot to talk about. I want to go back to Chiedozie Alex Obonia. Chief, you've said that Ohaneze Ndigbo, give us reasons why Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide are saying that the Southeasterners, Igbos, will not participate in this Days of Rage, as Sherere calls it, or End Bad Governance protest. You're doing it in protest at what some Igbos are perceived to have suffered during the 2023 elections. You're doing it in protest. That's your non-participation in the protest is a form of protest, is what you're saying. Are you therefore, as Ohaneze Ndigbo, agreeing with Hope Uzodinma, who is a member of government, and David Umahi, who is another member of government, who Nigerians see as part of the problem? Because they are also saying that Igbos will not participate in the protest. So is Ohaneze agreeing with them?
Surely we are not working with what Hope Uzodinma and Umahi said. Remember, in February we had taken our stand on this. I rather say that what Hope Uzodinma and Umahi, they are all Igbo. They are Igbo. So when Ohaneze speaks, it's whoever is a governor or whoever, they're all Igbo. So it's a dog, not tail wagging the dog. It's not a dog wagging the tail. So bringing Ohaneze down to Hope Uzodinma and Umahi, talking, directing on this is wrong. It is unacceptable. Rather, it is the other way around. Igbo has spoken, but Ohaneze Ndigbo, that's the leadership of the whole Igbo, including Hope Uzodinma and every other person who is a governor. So joining the two is very wrong, because we have taken our position a long time. Of course, you know that both Hope Uzodinma and Umahi didn't support P2B. It is very clear. So Ohaneze work for P2B in fullness of their machinery. This other people are talking about, this other governor work for APC. So their position is different from our own. But what we have said very clearly is that we don't want to avoid a situation of blaming the victim. If anything happens now, they say, well, this and that. They will have people sit on the course, you don't look, watch them. They say you're not good enough for leadership. Okay, allow the let's see how they are about it. In our Igbo land, they say, my year water or top where that is when they experience the other side. Maybe by the time Igbo will be speaking again, people will listen to us. That's what we are talking about. If you say we are not good enough for leadership, why should we be good enough for protest? If all the times we have cried for you, for Nigeria, and they don't want to listen to us, we're talking about Nandeka, we're talking about Igbo victimization, we're talking about Igbo migration, they are not sympathetic with our case.
But Chief, demand number 5. Chief, the fifth demand of, okay, we have to go for a break. And when we come back, I'll ask you some further questions, of course, with our guests as well. Both of you joining us on this conversation. For those of you watching, please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The promoters of this End Bad Governance protest in Nigeria, which they call Days of Rage, have a list of demands totaling 14. Item number 5 on that list of demands is calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally and the demilitarization of the Southeast. One of our guests, Chiedozie Alex Obonia, Publicity Secretary of the Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide Pan-Sociocultural Group, says Igbos will not participate in it. I want to go over to our other guests, and I'm talking about Yusuf Dantale. What do you think about this, Yusuf Dantale? Because it seems this protest will even benefit Igbos, who are both in the Southeast and South-South. Item number 5 is calling for the release unconditionally of Nnamdi Kanu. Not just that, is asking the federal government to immediately demilitarize the Southeast. And Ohaneze says we're not taking part in it.
I won't talk in particular, I will talk in general terms. We have problems in every part of Nigeria, insecurity, okay? In the north, you have insecurity. In the south, you have the same problem. So these problems are peculiar to the environment. For me, I don't believe in addressing symptoms of problem. I believe in addressing the root of the problem. In the words of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, he said, you don't solve a problem by addressing the symptoms, the signs. Any failure, whether deliberately or inadvertently, to recognize and solve instant problem, it will complicate and make the solution of both the old and new problems more instructible. Robert, I'm a student of sociology, and as a scholar, Robert Martins. Martins propounded the theory of a social theory of anomie, that people react to social situations in 5 ways. The first is that people conform. The second, people innovate, plus minus, plus minus. People retreat into drug, alcohol, and then people ritualize into religion, born-againism, and all that. And people rebel against the system, depending on how people look at it. But fundamentally, I always believe that solution is the best. It's not about destroying what we have, because that will lead to any other thing. Today, our people are predominantly agrarian, but we can't go to the farm because we have succeeded in creating an army of unemployed youths that it's easier for them to take up arms against their fellow brothers and sisters in the name of kidnapping and ban. These are Nigerians. They are our brothers. We know them. The people know them. So we can sit down and empower the traditional leaders. They know who. We all know every member of the society. We know ourselves. So that we begin to, so our people can go back to the farm, so that the roads can be free. We can go.
So are you saying Nigerians should not go on the streets from end of July to August, rather stay at home and pray that
it's within the right of the people going? They are calling for attention. It's fine. But that is not a permanent solution. That will only address the symptoms. But I'm only telling you that to address the fundamental, why are we going on the street? Because we are hungry, because unemployment is everywhere, because our industries are dying. So these are symptoms of failure in so many things, in governance.
Who will address the underlying issues?
No, excuse me. You see, this thing it is in stages. A few days ago, there was a Supreme Court judgment about local government autonomy. That's a step in right direction. And now we are talking about scrapping of State Independent Electoral Commission so that INEC can conduct election freely, at least a minimum standard of election conduct in Nigeria. So that at least people can now begin to elect people that are close. That is the third tier of government. That's the closer to the people. So if we fix that right, gradually we'll get to the solution to the problem. It is within the right. I agree with the people protesting. It is okay. But I am talking about solution, the permanent solution to this problem. At least not the symptoms. We have the solution.
So you're saying those who are protesting are addressing the symptoms and not the underlying factors, is what you're saying. But I'll come back to you, Yusuf.
No, I didn't say so.
That's what you just said.
I didn't say so.
No, we just said that.
No. No, I didn't say so.
What are you saying?
I said the people in power. Today you hear about distribution of rice, palliatives. These things don't solve problems. The people going for protests are calling attention of the authorities to errors in the society, in our socioeconomic lives. But fundamentally, how did we get to where we are? This thing did not start today. We all know there have been warnings from eminent.
All right, Yusuf, please permit me to bring Chief back in now.
Excuse me. So Okonjo-Iweala warned sometimes by Obasanjo. Later, during President Bola Jonathan, the current Emir of Kano Sunusi, Lamido Sunusi, he warned that with what is happening, Nigeria will soon know what is suffering. So what it means is that this thing is something that has been cumulative. It did not start now. So what is important now is to go back. What do we do to get things right as Nigerians?
All right.
Yes, go and protest.
Yusuf,
but whatever they protest, we must not destroy Nigeria, because we have no other home to call our own apart from Nigeria.
All right, thank you. So I will go quickly back to Chief Alex Obonia. Chief, demand number 5, calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the demilitarization of the Southeast. Do you agree with that demand by the protesters?
I think I'm very, very comfortable with that demand. However, I want to add that when they started the Operation Python Dance years back, that is almost when this started, when they called it Operation Python Dance, and militarized all parts of southeast of Nigeria. Of course, that was part of bringing the southeast into hardship, but we have not died. We are still living. So Nnamdi Kanu, whether they like it or not, they must be released. Must. Whether the Nigerians like it or not, just like Nelson Mandela. The more you detain Nnamdi Kanu in the prison, the more they clamor for his release, and ultimately he must be released. But all these things now come back to what we call insecurity in the southeast. Evidently, there is insecurity in one part of the country. There is a way it affects all parts of the country. Like if your fingernail is aching you now, it has a way of affecting the whole system. When part of a system is dysfunctional, it affects the entire system.
So Chief, having said all these things, why are you not joining the protest? Since you're saying you agree with their demands, but you want to stay at home.
It's not a sufficient bait. It is not a sufficient bait. And whether you protest or you don't protest, we're already comfortable with what is happening in the checkpoints everywhere. We are comfortable with it. In Nnamdi Kanu, we are not, in fact, whether you like it or not, he must be released. So it is not sufficient bait for us to begin to carry Igbo into the street. Anything happens now, they say Igbo cause it. No. And you begin to blame the victim again.
All right.
Victimize them. And I told you we're dominantly traders. We can't even live our 10 days, our work, protests, our shops will be closed. We will not do it. That's what we are saying. Let those who created the problem should go and solve it. That's our position. All
right, Chief, thank you. Final question to you, Yusuf Dantale. Do you see these protests going the way of the Kenyan protests, which are still ongoing, by the way?
Anything that has to do with the behavior of human, you can't predict. The only advice I would give is for us to try whatever it is not to burn down our country, even if we are protesting. Yes, we can protest. Why not?
Can I rephrase my question, Yusuf, please? Would you like to see the protests go the way of the Kenyan protests?
If it will bring, if you remedy to the solution, to the problems we have, why not? Because the protest is calling attention. So while the protest calling attention to a few things, the authorities will listen to the people protesting and then they agree and then discuss on what needs to be done. Because the people protesting too, they are not animals, they are not kids, they are Nigerians. They are pained about what is happening in their country and they want a better Nigeria. But my advice is let it go the way that all of us will be happy in the end and the proud that this is our country we have been able to succeed. Yes, of course, the protests in Kano, a lot of lives went up, but up till now, they have not been able to arrive at the point because there are still some demands about and so that is it.
All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you very much. Chief Chidozie Alex Obonia, Publicity Secretary, National Publicity Secretary of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide, and of course, Yusuf Dantale, who's National Chairman of IPAC, both joining us virtually. Your predecessor will be joining us on the next segment, so probably, Yusuf, you want to watch when you log off. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.